What advice or tips have you got for buyers and vendors out there at the moment that are looking to move?
I think mainly, we've already touched on it, do your homework, do your research is so important. Because of those expectations, it leads into everything that we've already discussed in the last sort of 20 minutes or however long it's been, but do your homework. Go and speak to your broker. If you've got a family broker, we've obviously got Lauren, but look, speak to as many as you need to. But do that first, because you'll find yourself getting hyped about, do you know what, I've been told by nationwide.com or whatever it is, that I can afford up to 250, and you've got this lovely 2-bedroom home in front of you,
And you can't.
and actually you can't.
And there's a very good story on that and an example that happened this morning. So we've got a property that somebody called up to view, quite an expensive property. They requested to view the home, and then by the time I came back to them to organise the viewing, so I'd spoken to the vendors to try and get them in. By the time I got back to them, they turned around to me and said they can't afford it. They can't afford to move. And it's not that it's a waste of time. I think it just plays with people's emotions a bit. I think you're requesting to view a property, and those vendors are looking to move and they're excited about moving, or they need to move. You then have to cancel the viewing for whatever reason. In this case, it was affordability. That leaves the vendors very flat. And it's not really fair on them because they've got themselves hyped up that they may have a buyer coming around their home.
Put yourself in their position, all of
Yeah.
a sudden you're thinking, do you know what, we have an actual need to move, like that they do need to move, and they're going, do you know what, great. At this level, the market has been a little bit tougher. It's been, not everyone can afford the price it's on for, so we know that it's a bit niche, so it means that timescale wise it's going to take a bit longer. I understand that, but it's a case of suddenly they've got themselves excited, there's some potential buyer coming round, great. Just because they haven't quite done the homework,
Yes.
they're now about 150 odd grand away,
Yep.
at which point no vendor in today's market is going to drop by 150.
No, all that's achieved in that process is it has wasted somebody's time or people's time, but it's also got hopes up
Massively.
unnecessarily.
You started up
So,
here,
yeah.
and you've dropped there.
So
and
do
they're
your
thinking-
research,
Yeah,
definitely.
inside they're
Do your
thinking,
Yeah,
what
100%
is
I
the point?
agree.
Well, we want to be positive. We want to put that, and actually, yeah, just maybe an extra half a day, just doing a little bit of exploring, researching, speaking to that broker beforehand.
Speak to us, yeah.
Understanding as well. I think a big thing, going back to one of those big part of that, the early repayment charge on a mortgage. Weren't told this at the beginning, so to have quite a hefty repayment charge on a mortgage means now that their expectations have changed.
Yep.
Very short space of time.
And on that, they've known that their redemption penalty was going to be this, and then they had to accept this sort of offer, which has now changed and has gone up. It may be that you sat in their living room, for example, and went, well, guys, it's probably not the time you I can't get you that money. This is what I can get you.
Let's look at it in
Yeah,
half a year's
and then
time.
it's an informed decision then, because they know whether they can or can't move, and it is what it is. But cool. Look, I've enjoyed that. That was cool. Oh, wicked.
How?
Sorry.
Any more tips and tricks have you got?
Tips and tricks. I think
Just try and reel off a quick fire.
from a vendor perspective, we really are in the middle of the car park, aren't we, with people with exhausts like that?
Yep.
Okay.
It's Tokyo Drift.
Um,
We go on race for peeing.
We go on race, peeing slips. Advice-wise, I think it is mainly to do with the research. To be honest with you, I think that it's massively. I'm so in favour of research on affordability and everything before you go ahead and do anything. I do want to just hammer that home. It's so vitally important to make sure you do that.
I've got one touching on that, going back to brokers. Don't just do your research with brokers, don't just stick to one. If there was such a thing, you do car insurance, probably compare the market, you do go compare all of these. You probably don't speak to one every time that your renewal comes up. If you're with Direct Line, who aren't on comparison websites, you're probably still going on it anyway, going, tell you what, Aviva could do this, but Direct Line, maybe a couple £100 more, why? But you've already done that research and you've asked that question of them, why not do it to brokers?
Yeah.
I think it's so important as part of that research, speak to at least 3, and it's the same with conveyancing. So my kind of tips for that would be multiple conversations, speak to at least 3 brokers and speak to at least 3 conveyancers.
I think the only other tip I'm thinking of in my head now, especially as we go into this type of market, is price. When people are sitting in your living room and they are telling you a high price compared to the others that you've had round, I'm assuming you've had 3, don't just go with the highest price. Go with the person that shows you the most evidence. That may be that the highest price has got the most evidence, and then great, that's fine. But that, to me, if somebody is just topping the property just to get your business without any evidence whatsoever to compare your home to anything, that's a massive red flag. And it's a difficult red flag to get past for people because, Tom, I'm going to give you 20 grand more than this person down the road. You know, you're not going to turn around and say no to that. That's the point, and that's. But it is difficult. So anytime if you've got valuations and you're looking at putting your home on the market, any price that's given to you, the one that's probably correct is the one that's backed up by evidence. And that's why we use so many tools that we do to make sure that the price is as accurate as we can.
We've partnered with Sprift, so we've got Sprift handy. We can give you the most up to date. So we're not just coming around with a Rightmove report with 3 properties that have sold around the corner. The other problem with, again, a Rightmove report for those, so some tips on Rightmove reports. Rightmove reports won't show you who the agent was. So a Rightmove report will just state that this house was sold in SN2 for XYZ. And certain agents out there will make it look like they've sold this list of 10.
Oh, that's true. You do. They do.
It doesn't show you who's actually sold them. Now, they won't tell you that they've sold them because that would be telling a lie. But they will allude to this is what's been sold, and then it's up to you to ask that question: have you sold all of these? And see what they say.
Yeah.
If they stumble, some of that information is disingenuous.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's
so be careful.
That's good
be
advice.
careful of that. Yeah, you're welcome.
Cool. I'll make sure I do that.
Cool.
Thank you.
Are you thinking of selling, right? A lovely agent for you if you're thinking of selling.
Have you? Exactly.
Smashed avocado on toast.
All right. Cool.